You're listening to the No Bullshit Vegan podcast, episode 181. Erika Hazel, a.k.a. the Bizerkeley Vegan, is on the show to talk about the annual vegan food festival she runs, which happens to be the largest in Northern California, her journey to veganism, and making veganism accessible and enjoyable for everyone.
Welcome to the No Bullshit Vegan podcast, myth-busting and evidence-based advice to help you kick butt with your health and fitness on a vegan diet. Here's your host, Karina Inkster.
Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Karina, your go-to no BS vegan fitness and nutrition coach. In case you missed it in our last episode, we are running a lock it in type deal for awesome listeners such as yourself. So the backstory is that we have not increased our fitness and nutrition coaching prices in over 5 years. So we are not even keeping up with inflation at this point. But our prices will be increasing on November 1st. So just for my awesome listeners such as yourself, I have a top secret offer. If you're looking to get and stay consistent with your strength training and plant-based nutrition, and you want 2 long-term vegan coaches in your corner at all times. So if that's the case, you can skip our usual Zoom interview process, sign up for the coaching package you'd like, lock in our current pricing, and start using your coaching package at any point from now until the end of June 2025. Go to karinainkster.com/lockitin to learn more and sign up. That's karinainkster.com/lockitin. Introducing my guest today, Erika Hazel. Named one of San Francisco Magazine's top 10 Bay Area food influencers, and the only vegan food influencer, Erika is making waves in Northern California using 2 simple ingredients: philanthropy and great tasting vegan food. Ever since going vegan in 2016, Erika has adopted the moniker the Bizerkeley Vegan to honor the city that helped her transition to the vegan lifestyle. Urban Dictionary defines Bizerkeley as a slang term used to describe the beautiful, politically and socially liberal mecca that is the city of Berkeley, Berserk plus Berkeley. After growing up hearing the nickname for years, Erika adopted the Bizerkeley Vegan denomination because she interpreted it as bizarre Berkeley, meaning unique, unconventional, and extraordinary, which is how the city of Berkeley makes her feel. Erika is a nationally recognized vegan businesswoman, recipe creator, magazine contributor, and philanthropist. As a vegan food expert, Erika is always discovering the best vegan cuisine to share with her family and social media followers to make the world a more vegan place, one bite at a time. The Bizerkeley Vegan is not only a popular social media influencer and food blogger, but also specializes in events, consultations, and speaking engagements. Erika's goal is to engage with people to help them find the best plant-based foods the world has to offer. She's been featured in Veg News and Veg Out magazines, CBS and ABC News interviews, and more. Here's our discussion. Hey, Erika, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
I'm very excited to hear about everything you do. You're a multi-talented human, which is super awesome.
Yeah, I have to give props to the ADHD. It helps me
Love it.
multitask.
That's awesome. Well, I was creeping on your website, as one does, and saw that you run the Bay Area's largest vegan food festival. And the Bay Area is already pretty vegan friendly from what I understand. So this is pretty big deal.
Yeah, the Bay Area is very vegan friendly. I think for me, I was just really surprised because I have traveled the country. I've gone to Atlantic City's vegan food festival. I've gone to the ones in Southern California. I love the one in Portland. I call it vegan food festival season. Like we have San Francisco, Sonoma usually has theirs, and Oakland hasn't had theirs in 4 or 5 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So there really is like a gap in the vegan festival market. And I actually think we're the largest in Northern California as well.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? I know you guys just had your festival on September 1st.
Yeah.
What's the deal? Vendors, speakers, how does the event work?
It's evolved over the years. This past year, it was a dream come true in the sense that it felt like a community day, which was so beautiful. Like parents brought their kids, people brought blankets and, wagons and just camped out all day long. People were dancing to the DJ, and we had a Hawaiian and African dance group come, and they did dance lessons. Like it was
cool.
It was so cute. We had about 80 vendors that were all vegan friendly. And yeah, all of our food vendors sold out.
That's incredible. So how many people attend? Do you keep tabs on attendees?
Yeah, we for sure documented at least 5,400 like tickets sold. And then with all the people who just like walked in, we probably had upwards about 6,000 people throughout the day.
Wow, that's incredible. Congrats.
Yeah, it's absolutely double what we did last year.
That's insane. Good for you.
I was like, where did all these people come from?
I know. I guess people are back out, like doing stuff and being out in the world, and things aren't shut down anymore. So, this is good news. This is good news for all of us event planners.
Absolutely. And I think, we started like fully masked up in 2021 in person. And so to graduate from that to being this like all day outdoor event, we've never had grass before. So it was and trees. And so people were just
Mm.
sitting, eating their food with their friends and hanging out. And we had a bounce house for the little ones. So it was like literally like, I was like, oh, no one's leaving. They're like staying all day.
So,
Yeah.
you're the head honcho here. You're in charge of the whole thing, but I'm assuming there's a team and there's volunteers. Like, what do the logistics look like? Is it all Erica?
90%.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. For the past 3, well, I do have to say I hire out, like, I don't run the music, I hire a DJ.
Hmm.
My amazing PR team, gets us, into articles and the news and everything like that. But this year was the first year I had a dedicated, solid team, and it felt amazing because I had all these intelligent women, and people helping me, and I was just like, "Okay, I'm not the head firefighter, like, I have all these other firefighters help me," and my family helps out every year. My brother was taking tickets, my other brother was putting out fires, and my mom was
Oh,
also
awesome.
taking tickets. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
It's a group effort for sure.
Hmm. But you also have a job, like you're a school counselor full time, right?
Yeah, I actually left my last school therapist job I had in March, and then I dabbled in the marketing world, doing real estate, commercial real estate marketing and event planning. And I'm also a professor. I teach future marriage family therapy students in grad school right now.
So, what do you not do? Is my question then.
Yeah, sleep.
Good answer.
Yeah, I'm constantly on the go, and really excited that we will be taking the Bizerkeley show on the road. I'm really excited that we'll be having our first event in Honolulu, Hawaii next year. So we're picking a date and picking a venue next week. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, wow. Sign me up for that. That sounds amazing.
I know, I know. I'm really excited. They haven't had a veg fest in 5 years as well.
That seems to be the trend pretty much everywhere.
COVID retired a lot of events.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I mean, this one seems to just be gathering steam and getting bigger every year from now on, which is great.
Yeah, we started in COVID, so it's only up from there.
Good point. Good point. Well, tell me about how you started in veganism. So, how did you decide? Was there a catalyst? Was there some information? Was it a slow process? What did that look like for you?
Mm, it was definitely had a catalyst, and I want to say it was a slower process. I went to school in Orange County, California, and I was walking around campus, and someone from the Animal Rights Club handed me a pamphlet. Said, "Do you want to save animals?" Like, of course I do. I love animals, and it showed the realities of factory farming. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible person. I have been subjecting adorable moo cows and chickens and like all these animals that I love to this life, to this death. And so I think I went pescatarian, which was kind of fake in the pescatarian because I don't like seafood. I don't like clams. I don't like anything. I don't like to eat stuff from the ocean really. So it was more like vegetarian with shrimp. And that didn't last very long. I kind of rebounded because I found for me, they say like you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself the most with. And so living at home when I wasn't at school meant I was surrounded by meat. And so
Mm,
once I finally moved out into my own apartment in grad school, I kept my home vegan, but I explored vegan food outside my house. And I had to watch it in 3 different sittings, but I watched the documentary Vegucated. And after my like third attempt to finish it, because it was so deep, it was so emotional, it was very moving. As soon as I finished it, that third sitting, I was like, okay, I'm a vegan.
wow. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, and I thank them every time every time I can think of it. I'm like, thank you, Vegucated, because without that documentary, it might have taken me a lot longer. And I just think of how many animals are still, or just how many lives we've saved because of, my consumption has been eliminated for the last 8 years.
Yeah. Well, it makes a big difference. I mean, I think this is a good reminder for folks that individual actions do make a difference. And also that different forms of activism make a difference because some people would just walk past someone handing out pamphlets being like, yeah, yeah, whatever, whatever. But clearly there's different ways of bringing people to veganism. It's not all going to work for all individuals,
Right.
which is why we need different forms. We need the food festivals and we need the pamphleting and we need the documentaries and we need speakers and more and more and more, right? So it's interesting that that was the catalyst that brought you in.
Yeah, the documentary definitely did it for me. The pamphlet was definitely started off for me. And I think for everyone always says, thank you for your activism. Like, what are you talking about? Like the Bizerkeley Food Fest it's more rooted in, I can't remember the name of the principle of Kwanzaa, but in English, it's the cooperative economics. I was terrified that my friends who make the vegan head chefs make a lobster mushroom mac and cheese that I would easily, I don't know, I would like cut off my foot for a lifetime supply. Like it's that good.
Okay.
And like I was worried about them going out of business. I was worried about all my chef friends going out of business. And so I was like, let's do a food festival so that like more people can discover your amazing food. And so really for me it's cooperative economics. And I think I was the last 2 trips ago, I was in Hawaii and I was traveling on the North Shore and it just hit me like, what should I name my company? Because the Bizerkeley Vegan is like my moniker, but that's not my company. And so I name my company Every Bite Counts Entertainment because every bite that you take that is vegan makes a difference. And so I would
Mm.
love to tally like how many animal lives we saved at the festival because we had almost 6,000 people eating vegan in one place.
Hey, that's a great point. And not all of those people were vegan coming in. I'm sure a lot of them were, but a lot of folks who go to these things are veg curious.
I would say at least half of our guests were not vegan. Most of my team was not vegan.
Mm.
80% of my team is not vegan.
Oh, wow.
But they believe in the mission, they support the mission, and they're always down to try amazing vegan food. And so that's why we don't let any vendor in. You have to be vetted
Hmm.
as a delicious vendor because just having anyone show up and sell gluten-free brand muffins that don't taste well and people are like, see, this vegan food tastes like grass. See, this is all the we want to disprove the stereotypes and the myths.
That's what I saw as a description of this whole festival, which fits very well with this show, by the way, because what we're doing over here is busting myths all the time about veganism and fitness and nutrition.
Yes.
And you're doing that on a food level to say, hey, vegan food is not boring. Vegan food is not grass. Here's what it can look like.
Yeah, it can look like your childhood staples. It can look like anything that you want it to be. It's transformative. It's a chameleon. It's amazing.
That's awesome. That's so
Yeah.
cool. So tell me a little bit about the name. Speaking of business names and stuff, tell me about Bizerkeley Vegan. I know it has something to do with Berkeley.
Yeah, it's so funny because growing up, like, whenever I learned Japanese is my foreign language, and I took classes at the college, UC Berkeley, and whenever people are like, oh, what are you doing this week? And I'm like, oh, I'm headed to Cal, the campus, like, oh, you're headed to Bizerkeley? Like, that's like a Bay Area nickname, but when I looked it up on Urban Dictionary, it's spelled BER, like berserk, like going crazy, and for me, I did bizarre, like unique, original.
Mm.
Yeah, so for me, like, there's no place. I was actually born in Berkeley. Like that's it's on my birth certificate. So for me, it's really more so about a place that I call home, literally, especially for the past 10 years. And that's where so many like famous vegan restaurants are. Like the Butcher's Son is like I feel like it's world famous at
Mhm.
this point.
Mhm.
Their gyros are amazing. I'm dreaming of one right now. Yeah, so many people I feel like are location based vegans and like I love Berkeley, so that's where the Bizerkeley Vegan came from.
Got it. I was wondering about that, looking at the spelling, being like, it's not Berserkly with an R.
Right. Right.
I love it. I do like things like bizarre and like, kind of things that are outside the regular box.
Right.
So I can connect with that for sure. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Berkeley's quirky.
yeah, quirky. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So you came to veganism for ethical reasons, but I know that there's also a health piece in there for you. So what does that look like for you?
The health piece is huge. That's probably also why I go by Erika Hazel. I was named after my dad's mom, who I never met. She died when my dad was like a freshman in college from double breast and ovarian cancer. When I
Mm,
was 18, they found tumors in my breast. And so I have had like surgeries, lumpectomies, biopsies. I have been tested for the breast cancer gene. Like, breast cancer has been like this constant, like, cloud over my life since I was a senior in high school. For me, health was a huge factor about it because she had breast cancer. My grandfather had cancer. My dad had cancer, and I'm actively trying to not have cancer. And once I learned so much about how dairy is so inflammatory, and all these, and like just seeing all these other amazing people like Chadwick Boseman dying of colon cancer, which is can be traced and has connections to meat consumption. It was definitely a health reason. It was definitely eating my ethics and a health reason as well.
yeah. I think that's generally how it goes is there's not just one reason to be vegan. Well, maybe there are for some people, I don't know. But they're all tied together and I feel like the health piece is less tangible. It's like, "Oh yeah, well I don't want to get cancer," but that's years down the road potentially. Whereas eating in line with my values, I can do right now and it's an immediate thing that I'm doing to eat in a way that's in line with my identity, right? So I think if we have both of those pieces, although you do have some experience with your family that's probably front of mind, like your dad and his mom, and you've got
Yeah.
more experience in that department than a lot of people.
Right.
But I think if we have both of those things, we then have a short-term and a long-term motivation, which means we're going to be vegan till we're 100.
I want to be a centurion so bad. Like, I would love to be a centurion. Yeah, and even just watching the Netflix documentary about the blue zones and things like that, just it really resonated with how I also like the festival. The same thing. Like, I want people to be in community. I want them to share, good times over good food. And I think we've had guests as old as like 81 at some of my events. We have guests as young as newborn
Amazing.
babies. My friends have bought their newborns, and so just exposing everyone to this. It's a lifestyle, it's a diet. For some people, it feels like it's a religion, and I'm okay with that. I just really feel like, yeah, for me, there were so many reasons for me to be vegan, but the health one was a huge factor. And I know vegans aren't immune from cancer, of course, but I definitely didn't want to give it the upper hand.
That's a great way of putting it. There are things that we have control over, and there are things that we don't have control over, genetics being one of those. So I feel like, yeah, I mean, I have friends who have family histories of diabetes or heart issues, and they're like super healthy vegans, not just for that reason, but it's part of it. It's part of the whole picture.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference because I know there's so many different reasons something can happen. But yeah, just knowing that I'm taking some of that ammunition away for the different diseases that I don't want to get makes a huge difference to me.
Mhm. That's awesome. So when people come to this festival, they're coming for all sorts of reasons. The food being the main one, obviously. Um, but do you like have lots of chats with people? Are there like vegan curious folks who are like, "Oh, what's this?" and then they check it out and they're now more open to veganism? Like what's the experience of the people who are going there?
I've heard this for the last 2 years, and it just makes my heart so happy. They're like, I've never been around so many nice people, like in one
Oh,
place like this. And I'm like,
that's
really?
awesome.
They're like, everyone here has good energy, good vibes. People are being super polite. Like, it just feels almost like a utopia. For a few hours, we're in this wonderful little bubble of good food and good company. And I think some people don't realize this, some people do, but vegan is not in the title. It's not the Berkeley Vegan Food Festival. It's Bizerkeley Food Fest. And part of that is because again, the destigmatizing veganism. It just looks like any other event, but I feel like we do so many things differently than other people do. And like, part of me going around the country and going to other people's events or even farmers markets is like, what are they, as a consumer, what are they doing that I don't like? What are they doing that I do like? And my biggest, like I said, cooperative economics, my biggest champions are the vendors. And so what works for the vendors, what doesn't work for the vendors. And I know I do so many things for vendors that other people don't do. Like, I provide breakfast and professional photography for my vendors so they can use those,
Mm.
photos later on, and they're not going to be hangry while they're working all day long.
That's so awesome. So this is making the food accessible to not just folks who are coming, but also the team that's working on the event. So it's kind of this like inclusivity, positivity, focusing on amazing food versus like beating people over the head with, you must be vegan for ethical reasons.
Yeah, and I know the vegan community is gonna hate me for this one, but besides bananas, for the most part, I don't like bananas. I don't like Veg Fest. I was a speaker at Sonoma County Veg Fest a few years ago, and the person who was going up before me was like, and cruise ships are bad, and they kill so many marine life, and they do this, and I was like, oh, okay, that's the, like, it was just very like, no, 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 very scolding, very shame based. And as someone who works in mental health, you don't change people's I mean, the pamphlet didn't shame me. It illuminated me. It informed me, but it didn't shame me. And I feel like vegans are like, the archaic version of veganism or reaching people is through shaming. And so I don't allow animal rights organizations to have booths there. I don't allow, I hand select every single vendor for a reason, because I don't want people to feel like, I want them to feel like they're being welcomed into a vegan family reunion, not being shamed into being vegan.
Oh, that's powerful. I like that. And again, this speaks
Yeah.
to different ways of inviting people in, right? And so this is a very specific vision that you have for how that's going to look.
Yeah, and I think my background in mental health contributes to that a lot. I really was like, "Ooh, I think I want to go get a degree in consumer psychology because it's so fascinating, not just marketing and ads, but what type of environment are you trying to curate and what does it take to curate that?" And it took $30,000 to curate that environment this year, but like having like a live band and a nonprofit a hula academy perform, and there was just so many things that we did this year that we didn't have last year, that I think made it feel like, wow, there's 5,000 people here all day long because they want to be here. A man was reading a book and eating his food and laying on a blanket in the middle of the like grass field. I was like, you're so happy right now. You're just
He's in his
chilling.
happy place.
Yeah, and that just warmed my heart, because Eat Drink Vegan was my favorite vegan. It was just a vegan food festival, not a veg fest. It was a vegan food festival. And I loved Eat Drink Vegan, and I think their last year was 2019, and they haven't been back since.
Oh, wow. Mhm.
But that was in Pasadena, California, and I absolutely loved it. Me and my friends would like carpool from the Bay Area all the way to Southern California to
Wow.
go to this festival. So yeah, that's what I'm
That's so
trying to
cool.
recreate. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that's what you're doing. It sounds like you're exactly on point with the experience you want people to have. I mean, this sounds exactly like getting people who may not otherwise be open to veganism to think about veganism.
Yeah, and it always blows my mind when the reporters who come to cover the festival are like, "This is so good. I never would have believed this was vegan." I'm like, "Yes, our target demographic."
That's right. This is the whole point.
Yes, yeah, I can't believe it's vegan demographic. That's who I'm trying to reach, and just being open-minded and not making it feel like a veg fest. I feel like veg fests turn a lot of veg curious folks off who maybe aren't in it for the ethics. But my dad, like,
Mhm.
he's given up pork sausage. He only eats Impossible sausage now.
Oh, amazing. That's so awesome.
Yeah, saving piggies every day because of like a welcoming embrace, not a like, you're a bad person because you eat. That doesn't, it makes people double down on their cognitive dissonance. It doesn't work.
100%. I agree, especially on the internet, but that's a whole other that's a whole other ball game.
That is. Oh my gosh, the Instagram comments, the YouTube comments.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm. That's a whole negative spiral we can go down some other time.
Some other time. Plenty of content for that.
Right? So what are you working on right now? So the festival's over. I mean, I assume it takes a better part of a year to plan something like that, but what other projects does Erica have on the go?
Yeah, I'm ready to bring back our vegan yacht party. It was a success for 2 years in a row. And people are like, when is it coming back? I'm like, it's coming. And last year it was a 12-course all you can eat open bar cruise around the Bay Area. We went past Alcatraz and under the Bay Bridge. It was amazing. So bringing back the yacht party, bringing back more like community-based things like doing potlucks. I'm also thinking about doing a holiday food drive to help those who are unhoused, create
Mm.
blessing bags and things like that. Me and my mom are writing a cookbook. We were talking about her camera specs so we can start shooting
Oh, cool.
some of the food for our collaborative cookbook. My mom makes the best vegan chili that she never brings back leftovers whenever she takes it to a potluck. It's always gone. I'm really working on a frozen food line that I really would love to see come to fruition. And I have been chipping away at trying to crack the code on what makes Chobani's non-dairy vegan creamer so delicious so I can recreate it for
I
myself.
love that. That's a project that I can back.
Yes, I couldn't believe they discontinued it. It was my favorite coffee creamer in the world. So yeah, and then taking Bizerkeley to Honolulu, and that's my heart away from home. It's my other happy place. I already have my vendors lined up. So yeah, we're just trying to solidify the vegan food scene here in the Bay Area and raise the vegan food scene in Honolulu.
So why Honolulu? You've got a connection there?
I did my first solo trip, my first big girl solo trip to Honolulu for my birthday. I think it was my 29th birthday during the pandemic. And I went once as a kid to Maui with my family, but it's almost indescribable the hold that the islands have on me. But I just found myself in community with Native Hawaiians, the vegan food vendors out there. Like the food tastes 20 times better than it could possibly ever taste here in California. It's so good. My favorite restaurant was Vegan City. I think that's what it was called on Kapahulu Avenue in Honolulu. They went out of business in like 16 months and it was the best. It was healthy too. Like they had a quinoa, what was it? It was a flaxseed cinnamon roll that I would gladly do anything for. And just seeing, I know food costs more. I think the food price difference between California and Hawaii is like maybe a $2 difference. So like the vegan salad dressing out here is $2 or $3 more out there. It's not a huge leap, but Honolulu has been or just the islands in general are huge advocates for the vegan diet and lifestyle. And so I don't think they have enough. We have ecotourism. They don't have enough food tourism around the vegan food out there. And if there's already going to be 4 million plus tourists going there every year, my amazing friends does same cooperative economics deserve that same business when those tourists come because their food is amazing. Like, again, meat eaters have no idea their food is vegan.
Mm-hmm. I believe it. I've been
Yeah.
to Hawaii a number of times. My favorite is the Big Island.
Yep.
And there's actually a recipe in my cookbook, the Thai peanut curry, that I
Mm.
first had at a Thai restaurant on the Big Island. And I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I have to at least attempt.
Right.
I came somewhat close, but not exactly. I've
Right.
got to at least attempt remaking this thing. And then it ended up in two of my books. And it's just like, yeah, that reminds me of being there. And I think also there's a lifestyle aspect of folks out in the mornings, swimming, surfing, being active. And you're kind of automatically thinking about what you're going to fuel with in that case.
Yeah, and for me, just seeing people really live off the land and just learning like the breadfruit and this like just all of the produce there is amazing. Like even the lettuce, I was like, is this what spinach is supposed to taste like? Is this what arugula is supposed to? It's so good. The farms out there are amazing, and so just seeing people so in tune with the land and their food, I'm like, yeah, if vegan food tasted like this everywhere, everyone would be vegan.
Well, that's what they think when they're going to your festival too, I bet.
Yeah, I know. And now we just need to, do it on a bigger scale. In the islands, yeah, I love the Big Island too. I'm a Kailua Kona girl. I have yet to explore Hilo. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think was it 2009? I can't even remember. My dates are horrible. 2009, I went for the first time, stayed in Hilo. 2011, my husband and I went to the Big Island for our honeymoon. But Hilo was like a completely different world.
Yeah.
It was like the wet side of the island, right? The monsoons and
Hmm.
rainforests. It was pretty amazing. But I remember the food was good even back then. So it's probably improved from a vegan perspective.
Oh yeah, I go for the produce alone, and the agriculture people are like, Erica, you have this, you take it out, go eat it. And I'm like, come on, I just really want to eat this on the plane. They're like, no, this is not leaving
Yeah.
the agriculture bag check. Go sit down and go. I had like a pound of lychee that they're like, you can't take this.
Oh, you got to just cram it in.
They find it every time. I'm like, come on, it'll be fine. I'm not going to bring any bugs or any disease. They're like, nope, go sit down and eat it. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, actually, my best friend had to do that with a whole pineapple at the airport
Oh,
right before boarding the flight. Like, okay, well, here it goes. I'm like, I believe in you.
oh no. Yeah. So, yeah, the produce alone is just phenomenal. So, yeah, I'm really excited to help the businesses out there. I don't want anyone to, shutter in 16 months or just stop making their amazing food. And so many businesses started during the pandemic, just like I did. And I just want to make sure everyone has a fighting chance.
That's amazing. So, anything kind of in general that you want to leave our listeners with, ideas? I really like this idea of cooperation among vegan businesses. Kind of seems to be a theme in your various projects.
Yes, 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 yes. We call it the Bizerkeley family. So once, you've done a certain number of events and, you rep the brand so well, like we love to continue to work with, our amazing vendors. So I think for everyone listening, thank you so much for listening. And I think if you can do one thing to make the world a little more vegan, share your favorite recipe, share your favorite meal with someone who you care about, who could just eat a little bit more vegan. And every time you do, you're saving a life and the world thanks you, the environment thanks you. So yeah, just keep spreading good food and good vibes.
Amazing. Erika, it was so great speaking with you. We're going to have show notes for our listeners to connect with you. The Bizerkeleyvegan.com is the main hub, but we'll have links to your Instagram and all the other good stuff. So thank you so much. It was great to meet you.
Thank you, you as well. Have a good one.
Erika, thanks again for joining me on the show. Check out our show notes at nobullshitvegan.com/181 to connect with Erika. And don't forget to head to karinainkster.com/lockitin if you'd like to take advantage of our current fitness and nutrition coaching prices before they increase. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the No Bullshit Vegan podcast at nobullshitvegan.com.